Hello, everyone. I hope you all are doing well. I first wanted to come on here to let you all know that thank you for being considerate. I appreciate the ones who reached out to me regarding the passing of my close friend. I really appreciate you guys for being flexible. Um, but I wanted to create a video because I know you all have another case study coming up, and I'm almost done grading everyone's paper. I will be finished pretty soon. But I want to kind of bring out some important points to consider when you're completing this next um, case study. So I want to start off by saying kudos to y'all, okay? Because we are not face to face. We have not really walked through a lot of the different diagnoses. We haven't even really walked through the case study. I just kind of provided some pointers along the way and for the ones that reached out and the email that I sent. But for the most part, as I told you all, I'm not really looking for like a correct diagnosis unless you're like far off, but most of you were kind of in the same lines. It's just a matter of, once you get familiar with actual diagnosis, then you'll be able to kind of point out, I'm more so concerned of your ability to accurately point out certain factors, certain points throughout the case study, and be able to provide some type of assessment based on, what you've read in your textbook. So I took some notes down because I want to make sure that I bring everything up. I wanted to just kind of bring out some common errors that I've seen, and I want you all to avoid during the completion of your next case study. So, in the identifying information section, so in the syllabus, there is a section for assignment, and it has the reflective case study paper, and it has it outlined like what goes in each section. So remember, in the identifying information, this is just basic information: race, gender, age, relationship status, student, employment status, living situation, environmental context. I noticed that a lot of you were placing like going into the presenting problem in this section. That's not the presenting problem. You're just looking at the basic information. So Kevin is a 32-year-old white male. He's currently been married for 5 years. You can report about his wife working in the ER. That's it. He worked as a film director. That's it. Then you move on to the other sections of presenting problem. The presenting problem is, how is the problem defined now? Not what has happened 4 years ago, 2 years ago, 8 months ago. Why is Kevin presenting now? What's going on? How does Kevin or the client, define the problem? When did it happen? When did it begin? And then how is it currently happening? Okay. A lot of you did okay. I saw some historical information inside of that section. So be mindful of that whenever you're completing your that section of the reflection paper. Mental statics exam. So I'm going to upload a copy of the mental statics exam, but I also want you to refer to your textbook regarding what this section is about. I think a lot of you were interpreting this section as what is his mental illness, or how you want to look at how he's presenting. How was his insight? How was his judgment? Is he coherent? Now, I realize a lot of this information may not be in the case study, and if not, that is fine. Just know that you can merely state, cannot determine current mental status exam. I would assume I did want to mention that a lot of you made a lot of assumptions throughout the case study. I think I read some in relation to, what was it? I'm losing my train of thought. In relation to, like, he was, I don't know, maybe I'll come back to that. Sorry. All right, so the formulation section. So go into detail regarding your treatment recommendations. Use other resources. What does research say about individuals that presents with delusion or substance abuse disorder? Why would you recommend individual therapy? Why would you recommend couples therapy? Why would you recommend substance abuse counseling. You also want to be mindful of recommended medication. Stay within your scope of expertise. We're not psychiatrists. We do not prescribe medication, although we know that certain medications treat certain diagnoses like depression, bipolar disorder, post-traumatic anxiety. We know that, but maybe stated in a sense of saying, refer to a psychiatrist to further address medication needs, or provide psychoeducation regarding medication, because research says that lithium is used to treat symptoms of bipolar disorder. This is a reflective case study. Your graduate level students, make sure that you are supporting your evidence, and you're really, even though it's reflective, it still can be like a critical analysis of why would you recommend what you're recommending. I really want to know that you're invested. Also, look at, there are different assessments that you can utilize to further provide a diagnosis. Would you recommend that they get the Beck Inventory Scale or things of that nature? And I know you don't know a lot of this stuff, but I'm just bringing it out there just so it can kind of get your wheels turning, because we'll talk about this a little bit more in detail at our next class meeting. I did not knock off too many points for that section, but I do want you to have an in-depth reflective study based on what is presented, okay? Diagnosis, again, support why you gave that diagnosis, all right? State facts, beware of assumptions. I'm still drawing a brain freeze as to certain things that I made note of. But, just make sure you're stating facts. Even, like I said, even though this is reflective, I want you to be able to back up your evidence and findings. Don't just use one source. You can use journals. You can use anything. If you came up with a diagnosis of attention deficit disorder, what does research say about attention deficit disorder within adolescents? Or, just be able just to put something in there to make it more in depth. Don't restate the case study. Make sure you summarize, put it in your own words. It's a reflection. Watch APA format and page setup, references. If you use in-text citations, make sure that you're utilizing the correct APA formatting, because you'll get dinged for that. And just a point, something that I used to do, and I still do, after you complete your case study or any paper, read it aloud to yourself so that it makes sense. Most of the time, you'll catch a lot of grammatical errors, a lot of sentence structure issues. You'll know if it makes sense. I remember visiting the Writing Center when I was in graduate school multiple times, and I remember these were some of the pointers that they gave me, and it really, really helped me with writing. So this is just something to consider, because it has to make sense to you so it can make sense to the reader, okay? But again, you guys are doing a wonderful job, a wonderful, wonderful job. I'm not even over-exaggerating that at all. I wanted to be able just to have this video just to give you a guide. If you all or any of you need to schedule a time to meet with me, we can set up a time to meet virtually, and we can kind of go over some things or some questions that you may have. You may have some questions about the diagnosis that was provided. Let me just say, without going into detail, the schizoaffective disorder, let me make sure that was the right diagnosis. Yes, schizoaffective bipolar type. Because there was a presence of mood in addition with the delusions and the paranoia, and then he had kind of intermittent times whenever he would have a manic phase and when he would suffer from depression. That's where that schizoaffective comes in, and that's why the bipolar type is the actual specifier of the schizoaffective disorder. The unspecified cannabis use disorder, we don't really have enough information to provide a full diagnosis of it. Sometimes when you don't have enough information, remember I was saying during the first time we met that you can use information such as unspecified. And the Z codes, it has here relationship distress with spouse or intimate partner. I could kind of go back and forth with that because it really wasn't enough information to say that they had discord. The only discord that it seemed like they had was because he was under the influence and he began to, experience some delusions and some paranoia. But I'm not sure if I would have provided that a Z code, but another Z code of non-adherence to medical treatment. So you want to be mindful of Z codes as well. All of this is contributing evidence towards what could possibly be another type of diagnosis or what is contributing to the current diagnosis that you came up with. So I don't want to make this too long. I'm already about to be over 10 minutes, but I just wanted to come on here and I wanted to give you some more guidance, some more direction in regards to your next case study. Again, I'm super proud of you all. Take a breather, release some stress, I marked up a lot of you papers, but it's only because I want to make you better. I want to make you, have your brain kind of turning, those wheels turning about different things. Keep in mind, I've been doing this for a long time. I'm not more so focused on your actual diagnosis. I want to make sure you get exposed, and I want to make sure that I, channel your thinking about a lot of different things. All right, this doesn't apply to all of you, but, I wanted to make sure that I have, something for you, okay? So once again, if you have any questions, please reach out and I will see you soon. Bye, guys.